Printmaking is important because it's a part of our everyday life. It's something that I feel like we see every day but don't realize we see every day. It comes to us in the form of junk mail. It comes to us in other artful ways as well, and sometimes we make a distinction between those depending on the context in which we're seeing printing. But oftentimes it's coming to us in kind of an everyday, casual way, and something that we're very interested in doing here at Firecracker and through our nonprofit at Central Print is to highlight that a little bit and give people a moment to pause and think about the way things are delivered to them and the printing that they're seeing all around.
We're finding objects in the street today with this workshop, things that are modern and contemporary and mark our place in today's world, but we're putting them on 150-year-old presses and using equipment and techniques that have been around for centuries to make a new message that really speaks about our culture today. In printmaking, there is something for everyone. It satisfies a whole lot of needs of the artist.
Crushed was about going out and taking things from our everyday lives, going out into the wild, so to speak, and collecting items that we could bring back to the studio and pull prints from. So things like bottle caps, some of the trash in the gutter that you might find, but also other things like plant material or grasses or seeds, weeds, other things you can see just by walking down the street, bringing those back to the studio and putting ink on them and seeing what happens when you pull a print from that stuff. It's so satisfying.
The best part about printmaking, I think, is that it can be anything you want it to be. It's so indirect that the possibilities for making more than one of the exact same thing, or a ton of things that resemble each other in some small way but not exactly, or just making a bunch of unique objects. I think the potential for anything and everything is present in printmaking in a way that maybe is more difficult with other mediums.
We started this collaboration between Firecracker Press and Central Print a few years ago as a way to take our educational things, our tours, our outreach programs that we were doing at Firecracker, and house them in a nonprofit structure that could then take that out and spread that to more folks. And so that's kind of how the two organizations are working, and a perfect example of that was adding the element with the Contemporary Art Museum into it, bringing their education department into it, developing this crushed program to bring high school folks into the mix and sort of stir that big pot up and see what happens. Our philosophy here is sort of the old cliche that the rising tide raises all boats, and so we feel like what's good on the education side is also good on the business side and also good in the art world side. So the sort of like triangular grouping of those organizations became a very strong collaboration for us.
You're getting really nice textural variations too. Did that get messy? Yeah.
It's always exciting to see the connection, like when their head finally gets it, like, oh yeah, you transfer the image from point A to point B. It's amazing. It's like magic. I just think Central Print is amazing. It's fantastic. I wish that Central Print had been around when I was a kid, when I was in high school. They do such a good job of talking about the history of printmaking, but also allowing people to have hands-on experience making prints. I think it's the bee's knees. I think everyone should be here. I think it's so great.